Welcome to the first video about measuring our success in coaching in a quantifiable way. Why is this important? Measuring guides and focuses attention. And attention is the important thing that guides where energy goes in an organization. So it guides change. And attention is important so that the things we do become a habit. It's very easy to change your intention, change what you want. But it's very difficult to pay the regular attention so that change actually sticks. Mark Twain famously said, "I stopped smoking 1,000 times, it's easy." Yes, deciding to smoke is easy, but keeping not smoking is hard for most smokers. So if we look at organizational change in a way that the organization has a habit that needs to change, attention is what we need to pay attention to. It's where our awareness goes, our awareness as coaches and also the awareness of management, of leadership. Plus, change is not going to stick if we don't include it in the way that the organization measures success. As soon as any pressure is coming, people will look to the numbers, people will look to what's important, and in most organizations, the numbers define what is important. And when push comes to shove, people will pay attention to those numbers, and they will make those numbers. So we need to make sure that whatever we want to change in the organization is contributing to the numbers that are important, and that everybody is aware of how these things are contributing to these numbers. Another way to look at it, many people post things on Instagram and Facebook and Foursquare and wherever, and one of the apps I use whenever I check in somewhere says photo or it didn't happen. We want evidence. We want evidence of the things we do actually having an impact. Agile doesn't make sense if we don't actually improve something. And as long as we don't measure it, there is a likelihood that we don't really improve. To me, that's the most important reason why so many agile transformations, agile adoptions, agile transitions, however you call it, change projects in general, fail. Because we focus on the change, we don't focus on the impact. And the impact is what we want to be measuring, so that we notice it. We notice the change when it happens. Another thing that's very important is measurement keep us in line in terms of our cognitive biases. Whenever we invest something, especially when it's blood, sweat and tears, and when it's money, we believe it's valuable. We spend so much money on these consultants, on these coaches, on these people getting training. There's probably some value. One of the most interesting projects about agile success or failure is a BBC project that was investigated a few years ago, because for several years they had burned, I think, 72 million British pounds without delivering any impact. The research that was done showed the reason was agile. How did that happen? Every 2 weeks, they delivered something that somebody said was important. Sometimes that somebody was a manager, sometimes it was a customer, sometimes it was a user. They always had good short-term reasons for doing what they did, and they delivered. So they kept having this good feeling of every 2 weeks of generating value. But obviously they didn't check often enough, or didn't take seriously enough that they were actually expected to make a difference with a big project, and they didn't make that difference, not at all. So this is important, because without this, we will not be successful, because we can't measure our success. Plus, and this is a side effect, and maybe the main reason you want to watch this, as a coach and as a leader, we want to know what difference we make. because that determines the value we bring to the organizations we work with, and that should have an impact on the money we make, which is an interesting question to all of us, right? So let's dive right in the next session.